Welcome back to PrepperNow. I had a busy one tonight, so we are a little later than I like, but I want to talk about some things. Things are, of course, getting progressively worse. So we're going to start with some positive. Nothing predicts happiness like a good marriage, says a professor, as you all know, in pop culture, which shouldn't be popular, which is what the pop stands for, but it is. It's pushed that way. There's, they make it seem like people should be independent, and it's proven that things are actually better if you're in a committed, loving relationship. And so my wife and I had some good conversations on things. She knows that I am against certain lifestyles and things, and so I have told her that it's all because everything that goes on around us, that there's a narrative, and that's what this is, the pop culture narrative. They do things, they pump it into your head for a certain reason. They make certain influencers popular. Why do you think the White House has a entire push to get influencers, people on Instagram and stuff like that, to sell their message? They pay them to do it. It's because they know that the people are out there, and you won't listen to officialdom, but you might listen to people. My wife follows people, and a lot of them are Christian, and they're conservative, and they're married and stuff. But she's also got a nice slew of people that are not that way. Slew of people that are right now she's watching a Reno show about a guy, and the whole thing is about subjects that are, let's just say that conservatives would have a problem with some of the topics that come up, right? And it's Netflix, and it's a home reno show, and it's got a certain narrative and all that. And we got into a pretty argument, not argument, just like a debate, really. We don't argue. We have moments where we get mad at each other and stuff, but that's natural. But we debate, and she is just kind of like, go along to get along, why does it matter? Why does it matter to me? And my whole thing is, all of this does matter because it is affecting our society around us. And, there's certain things that are really always in the news about our culture right now, about how we should be okay with the way everybody lives and all that. And honestly, the libertarian in me, I don't care what other people do. I just don't want you to involve me. I don't want you to, I don't want it to be shoved into my face, or specifically, I don't want it shoved into my kid's face. And, it's all done on purpose. They do this on purpose because, as I explained it to her, I said, look, you've got a bunch of rich jerk faces in the background that want society to be a certain way. Basically, they want what they had in communist Russia. They want 1090. They want about actually not even 1090, probably 298. They want about 2% of this group of, people that are running the show and make all the money and get everything. And then the rest of us basically just get, a crappy form of quasi-communism socialism, where we're renting and sharing transportation, and we're living in little hovels, and the food we eat is not that great. Meanwhile, they're dining on steaks and flying around in jets and wagging their finger at us because we're terrible human beings, because we want to consume a little more and want a little bit better for our houses and our homes and our families. So, I said because of that, they're in the background. They're always working. They're always trying to get this narrative out there that, you'll be happier if, you just we're more independent. I think women get that message a lot. And if you look at it, you're not happy. You're more happier if you're married. It's better to debate my wife on a long ride home from Bangor, Maine, than it is for us to be sitting there wondering how the heck, someone's gonna take care of our kids because we're parenting them and we're single parent and we want to go out on a date, but you can't do it. It's just, I don't know. But the main point I made to her was, I said, if we spent as much time trying to put this narrative in our culture that you're better off alone, or you're better off just kind of doing whatever makes you happy. And we put that off, and we actually, we're back to what other cultures do, and that's to push out a strong family unit. If we worked on really working to make fathers become in the home, make it so marriage is a big thing, like they're doing, like Hungary. They've got things that they're going after with tax breaks and everything to push. And I said, when you really look at population and everything right now, the way it's trending is the TFR, which is the replacement. You have, 2 kids, and 2 kids replace you, and all that kind of stuff. And we replace ourselves. The way we're going right now, we're not replacing ourselves. We actually, there's a major decline, especially in places like Asia, Japan, Korea. They're not replacing themselves. The society is suffering because of it. And in the background, I think you got these cackling jackasses that are like, oh, sweet, more for me. And it's like, well, no, you're going to ruin things for everybody. But anyway, I saw this. I thought it was an interesting story. And I really do think that people, our society, needs to push for more of a family and, reproduction in a positive way, and strong, morals and all that. And of course, we're not doing that. We're just, whatever makes you happy. That's the kind of what we are right now. If whatever makes you happy, and that's not a good thing. We should try to be happy as much as possible, but going out and drinking every night and acting like a jackhole is not, And that's the message that is put out there in a lot of our pop culture. Put out there that, it's so much fun to go out and date perpetually. And it's not. It's terrible. I hated dating. So to my wife. But to the married Americans out there, to the married people, congratulations. Hopefully you are happier than the crap culture that is thrust in front of us to make us more susceptible to whatever the heck they call it, stakeholder capitalism, which is just a big fancy word for socialism, communism crap. So we've been covering here the whole thing going on in Israel. We talked yesterday, of course, about the hits on the different people, and is there going to be a wider war, and where all this is going to go. I had a story on the crisis report where there was an ammonia factory that was hit in Sterling, Virginia. Now, I don't know anything about it. I haven't followed it up, but I thought it'd be interesting that, what if it was some kind of sabotage, and it was by people that are not cool with us in America, or, not unhappy with us helping Israel or something like that. I think that thing is going to start to happen. I think those kind of stories and those kind of problems are going to happen. I think you're going to see we should brace for more attacks here in the country. I don't have to tell you about the new neighbors coming over. I'm actually going to end on that one. But they're worried about a lot of places like, embassies and synagogues and businesses and others that are, tied to Israel getting hit. I mean, I think that Americans should be cognizant and worried about that as well. The National Security Council warned Israeli citizens to brace for terror attacks abroad as part of an anticipated coordinated response of the twin hits Israel carried out in Beirut and Tehran this week. I think Americans should also be very much cognizant of their surroundings. Wherever you are, you should be knowing where the exits are and stuff like that. Not because you're paranoid, because it's just an intelligent thing to do. We had an interesting thing happen tonight in our neighborhood, and thankfully my neighbors took care of it. But still, basically, some kids were rattling off pellet gun on the street signs, and he came up and said, "Look, you guys can't do this." But still, we're in the middle of nowhere, and we had an incident happen. So no matter where you are, what you are, who you are, how you are, there's always potential. Now, these were just some kids shooting, a pellet gun on a street sign, a few of them. But still, I mean, it was an incident that me and the neighbors had to talk about. Other instances are going to happen around you. It might be a neighborhood thing, might be a city thing, might be your job thing. There was actually a time when I was living in New York City. I was working at a place that was in the vicinity of an attack, and we had to kind of lock things down for a moment. This was many years ago, but you never know. You need situational awareness. I think it's important. There is going to be an escalation. I've been watching. I've been putting things out onto the community. There was supposedly jets getting riled up and revved up and ready to go. Nothing has happened since, probably just to see what the reaction will be by Iran and the proxies. So, there's potential all around. We're in a dangerous time. Another thing, I play music. We had music tonight. My guitar player had his car broken into last night. My wife and I are getting the brakes done in her car. She had to leave it overnight. And I was like, you know what, you might as well just leave it unlocked. That way there's nothing in there. If someone wants to snoop around, they're not going to steal anything unless they want the manual to the car. So there's potential all over the place. There really is. It's important to have your six. It's important to know where you are. It's important to, look at the situation and everything, and just know that we're in a precarious time, and all kinds of things can affect that. It could be new neighbors coming over. It could be general crime going up. It could be people that are laid off or broke and they don't have the means to pay for stuff, so they're deciding to go window shopping at the local car or park or whatever for items in people's vehicles. All that stuff is happening. And why is that? It's because our economy is in the crapper. It is. So Disney, I saw today they've got a new thing for their streaming service that came out. It's basically 3 of them for about $16 or whatever it is. Not buying it. But if they're coming out with deals like that, that means that they're hurting. They're not making their money. And this is all over the place. I saw numerous other things. There's a thing called the Jolts. Came out on Tuesday. It's basically people seeking to change jobs, and it's collapsed. And the reason why is because, first of all, there are no jobs. And second of all, people don't want to risk it. They don't want to go out there and look for other jobs. Because if they do, and then they give up the one they have, and then they don't get the one they want, then they're kind of in between, they're screwed. So it's a real big indicator of the economy. Because it's basically the jobs that are out there, and it's the stuff that people can get. And, are they switching? Are they trading? Are they going into new digs? Are they trying to better their position in the world? And, well, if there aren't jobs out there to do that, it's tough. And then if you do try to switch and you get screwed over in between, that's a problem too. But, 2% of the unit workers at Disney, that's actually a lot of people. So, after agreeing to spend millions on two Avengers movies, it's disappointing Disney isn't supporting those making programming about our actual planet. So this is, Nat Geo. And, again, back to the whole original thing. I'd rather watch a nature show than, more of these crappy Avenger movies, or these crappy Star Wars. And they have absolutely crushed Star Wars. I was a huge Star Wars fan growing up. Loved it. Loved going to see the movies. My granddad, never forget, I still remember it to the day like it happened yesterday. My granddad taking me to see Empire Strikes Back. Oh, it's a wonderful day. And now I get this crap, all this BS empowerment stuff that really is just more for conflict, divide and conquer. Again, rich jerks in the back trying to make us hate each other so they can buy everything for pennies on the dollar. But yeah, they're making all these really crappy movies. They're sitting there scratching their heads why people aren't watching them. It's because the screenplays suck. It's a bunch of angry people that are, putting out crap content with fake everything. It's all box checking BS, and it's not real life. And people aren't connecting to it. Let's just be honest. They're not connecting to it. So Disney's Bob Iger, they had to bring him back because the other guy was so terrible. He was running it into the ground. He's aimed at those traditional networks after putting too much into streaming content. Again, it's because they're not doing it there. It's not enough. So as part of the $7.5 billion plan to cut costs, Pixar Animation lost 175 workers in May. Last year, Disney cut 220,000 workers worldwide. That is a city. So that was last year. This year, I'm sure they're doing it again. But why is that? It's because the crap that they're putting out is crap. Nobody wants to watch a woke Star Wars. Nobody wants to watch a woke Avengers. Nobody wants to watch Indiana Jones, and it's all about how white guys are terrible human beings. It's just I'm just so over it. So over it. This box checking BS. And if we just went and just made good stories again about love and morals, and my kids will get on and they'll watch YouTube, and I'll be like, what are you watching? You're just watching a person play a stupid video game and scream the whole time. Watch something that has morals and a story and a good cast that are interesting characters. They don't really have that anymore. TV is terrible now. My wife and I watch the reality stuff. We just watch she likes to watch the reality shows on real estate because she's interested in what the houses look like inside, really, and then all the drama on the outside. We were talking about it last night. I said, all this is fabricated. People don't act this way. Normal people don't act this way. I'm sure you don't act this way. I sure as hell don't. But this is the kind of crap culture they want to push on us, It's terrible. So, bad news for those in the Los Angeles, New York City, and D.C. regions. You're screwed. They're cutting. Disney was hit with layoffs Wednesday, 140 employees, 220,000 worldwide. A small city. Why? And I bet there's people that are literally scratching their head. I have no clue what happened. It's because your content is terrible and people don't like it. People don't like you faking all this BS and changing all these traditional great stories and turning them into these new things that are just soulless and crappy. I don't know. I haven't seen a Star Wars. The last Star Wars show I saw was Rogue One. And it was really good because it had Tarkin in it. And I love Tarkin. Yeah, Rogue One. I don't even know when it came out. But Rogue One was the last one I watched. And since then, it's gotten too crappy. I can't do it. Doesn't help, too, that Mark Hamill is like a super lefty bonehead idiot. he should be thankful that he is back in the spotlight again, because he was picking out cigarette butts from ashtrays about 10 years ago, or whatever it was, because his career was in the crapper. So, but I have said it here, folks, and this is the main thing I want to talk about. If you think it's chaotic now, if you think the economy's crappy now, if you think the job problems are now, if you think the potential for watching your six as you go down into a market is now, just wait for what's going to happen in about 95, 6, 7, 12, whatever days. So the Washington Post is setting the stage for election chaos, results that take days to count. Now, I have said this here, that there's going to be lawfare in this whole thing coming in November. Okay? So what do they say? 3 months before the presidential election, the WAPO, or the Washington Compost, as certain people call it, setting the stage for electoral chaos, election results that could take days to count, battleground states of Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, where the dominated courts have upheld Rona mail-in voting, and election watchdogs call all this unconstitutional, because it is. It was never, first and foremost, we're only supposed to have an election day. We're not supposed to have an election month, an election season. According to the Constitution, if you've read it, I have, we're only supposed to have a day. You can do it or you can't. And it was chosen in November because back in the day, the farmers, would harvest in October, and then they'd take a week off, and then first week in November, before it got too cold and crappy, they would set it up so people could go out and choose who's going to be their political representative, right? Other countries do it on Sundays. Other countries do it so they make it a national holiday, and you can go and do it, but you get one day. Many other countries do not do the kind of things that we do, because the kind of things that we do have pushed us into chaos. It's dysfunctional, to say the least. So the Washington Post has, stating that GOP or threatened GOP voters and election integrity hawks with prospect of delayed election results and chaos from all this stuff. And the reason why is because they think that there's going to be a bunch of votes that come in late. Now, part of the reason why we do voting the way we do is so we don't get this. So we don't have votes coming in late. We don't have votes that are, being come in at like midnight or whatever. Like, it's supposed to be all done locally by a bunch of grandma blue hairs in paper form that sit there, and they're chosen because they've got integrity and they want a fair election. So Rona passed all these crazy laws, and now here in November, we're going to get potential chaos, because the Washington Post is saying that because of the way that we're doing it now, with getting all the extra votes and counting them and everything else, is going to add to the chaos. And then, of course, what's going to happen from there is the lawyers are going to come in, and the lawyers are going to drag it out even further. And you trust me, the Democrats have an entire fleet of lawyers that are ready to go. GOP will probably be caught flat-footed as usual, saying, oh my God, I didn't see that one. And it's going to go to the courts in places like, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, which have overwhelmingly leftist judges. Things are going to potentially go that way. So what does that mean? It means that chaos is going to happen. It says if the Electoral College comes down to Pennsylvania or Wisconsin, we might still face a long period where we don't know the winner. Rachel Oray, elections expert, Bipartisan Policy Center. Reprehensible that they didn't get it done, said Kathy Buckvar, Democrat who was Pennsylvania's Secretary of State during 2020. This is not rocket science. The reality is that not passing this bill will mean the ballots will take longer to count, which means it will be longer until we know the results of the election. Do you want the results on election night, or do you want them a day or two? Democratic City Commissioner in Philadelphia, Lisa Deeley, said, if you want to wait, then wait you will. Now, I don't know who's going to win or what's going to happen or what states are going to possibly be up for grabs. But I can tell you that if this goes to a lawfare interregnum where we don't know for months who's going to be the next commander-in-chief, it's going to set off all kinds of nasty things. It's going to set off financial problems. It's going to set off, violent people. And, I'm not going to say what side or which, but I'm sure it'll be fully represented there. And it's going to be chaotic. And it's going to make it so things are even more chaotic. And I don't know how much more chaotic you can get in this country, I really don't. I just... So if you think this is bad now, that's where we're at. Like, we're not even to the point where people go... it's one thing where people don't do platforms anymore. They just kind of cater to different box-checking demographics, and that's really becoming now. Look at the GOP National Convention and who they trotted out onto the stage, trying to play as if they are modernized and all that, where when you looked at some of these people and their backgrounds, you're like, well, why in God's green earth did they put them up there, right? So we've gone from not even going out and saying, I want to do this for education, I want to do this for energy, I want to do this for jobs, I want to have a full political platform that's going to help people, and you will earn my vote, I will earn your vote by giving you good stuff to look forward to if I should win, right? We're not even there anymore. Now we're to the point where they're like, what kind of lawyers can we get to win this thing? We need really good lawyers. Think about that. The election chaos that is potentially going to happen is concerning. And also, it just takes trust out of the system. I was thinking about it. I'm thinking about this today and certain other times. The experiment of America and coming in and limited government and checks and balances and the laboratory of democracy with states' rights and everything else. All the wonderful things that made America what it is. And the reason why was because the people that started the country had seen what all these other crappy things were going on. They've seen what it was like to live under a king, and they didn't like it. And they thought, you know what? We don't want a small group of people making our decisions. We want to be able to spread the love out and spread the power out so everybody's got a voice. And now all we're seeing around is a group of people trying to do everything they can to take that experiment away and to put it where, again, a small group of people are making a small group of people rich, powerful, and everybody else, can just try to exist if they can. Have you seen all the videos out there of Gen Z and younger millennials that are sitting there like, holy crap, I have to work 60 hours just to make it, and I can't really do it anymore. That's the kind of society that we're getting set up for. The urinating all over our money. Housing is unaffordable for anybody under the age of 40, effectively. I went out and did shopping today at the grocery store, and it's gotten to the point now where I go to multiple stores because I know that this place has got a deal here. This place has got the deals here. I go to this one store because their meats are cheaper, and I'm going to eat meat. I'm not going to eat cricket. I go to this other store because they buy in bulk. It's Sam's Club. There's certain things I want to get. They actually had a really good deal on seltzer today. They're normally $9, $10 for a case. They had one for $6. So I bought a few of them because it's going to save me money. because all the other stores are like $12 now. I mean, I don't drink but two things. I drink coffee and I drink seltzer. That's it. Seltzer's my thing. I like a good seltzer. My wife is sitting at home. She's been making bread all day. Why? Because we don't want to spend the money on buying bread. Literally said to me, "Oh, no, don't get bread. I'm going to save us money. I'm going to make the bread," right? And now, her bread is incredible. Like, literally, I was kind of mad tonight. I got home. She was supposed to do it tonight. She got caught up. All kinds of craziness. The kids shooting the signs outside and everything. So she had to, divert her attention. She's talking to her mom. She's talking to my parents. Blah, just being a good daughter-in-law. But she said she didn't have time to make the bread. I was so looking forward to cutting into that and putting a nice thing of whatever I put on there. Sometimes I'll put olive oil and black pepper. Sometimes just some good butter. Sometimes some peanut butter. Sometimes some jelly. Whatever. But I was looking forward to it, and wasn't there. But the thing is that she's making it now regularly. That's like where our bread comes from. Why? Because I don't want to spend the money on bread at a store. It's too expensive now. Loaves of bread are literally $4. If you want good stuff, good meat, burger is what, $7, $8 a frickin' pound now for good stuff? Yeah, you can get crappy stuff for $4 or $5 a pound, but you want to do it. I've also largely cut out red meat from my diet. We do a lot of turkey, a lot of chicken, a lot of salmon, a lot of shrimp and stuff like that, right? But, again, the turkey burger is pretty darn cheap, and the regular burger is it's expensive. People can't afford it. So we're going all over the place. I go to multiple stores now. I'm going to go and get my vegetables and fruit and everything from Aldi and a couple of farmers markets probably, because I want good organic. Aldi's got the cheapest organic when it comes to vegetables and fruit. And I get my meat and cheese at this other store. Why? Because it's cheaper. Like, I'm literally going to multiple places to save, because it'll save me $20, $30, $40 now if I do it right. The economy is in the crapper. Obviously, Disney laying off 220,000 people worldwide. Our culture is terrible for the most part. We promote the wrong things. All the things that are shoved in front of our kids' faces are frivolous, and, the good solid units that used to be cherished in our country, like a strong family with, good morals and all that, regardless of where you get those morals from, doesn't matter. You do you, we'll do us. All that's gone, and everybody's looking for a savior. They are. They're looking for a savior, because they know things are off. They know it's getting worse. So they go and they put their faith into Orange Man Bad or, Kamala or whatever. But it's not going to do it. And what's probably going to happen is now, even those people that we look to, that, to help us out, to make it so things get better, they're not going to be able to do it either. And that's going to devolve into this crap. There's going to be election chaos. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion. They're already prepping you for it. They're prepping you for other things. They're prepping you for financial chaos. They're saying that the stuff and the numbers that are coming down the line are about as bad as it gets. So you better believe in about 95 days, the whole thing's going to crap the bed. And they're going to do everything they can to keep the prettiest horse in the glue factory on four legs and still be able to make it out to pasture before it gets a bullet in its head. So, all I can say, folks, is you can't hope for change coming from without. You can't hope for change coming from the political institutions anymore. I really don't believe that. The only way you're going to be able to do things is on your own little piece of land. You know, you and your family, you know, or whoever that may be, however it is for you, doing things, you know, growing vegetables, making bread, whatever it may be. But self-reliance and prepping is the most important thing. It's going to be chaotic, and you can avoid a lot of pain by prepping and having things ready to go, you know. We bought a set for my wife. She wanted a sourdough making set. She's got the whole thing now. It costs a little bit of money, but I bet within 6 months we've already saved what we would have paid for the big, really good loaves of sourdough bread from, you know, the high-end stores like Trader Joe's. You know, those things are $5 now. Literally. They're $5 at Aldi. So, you know, yeah, we're going to have to take the bull by our horns. We're going to have to do it ourselves. But get ready. I think the November to January time frame is going to be nutty. I do. And then that's even like if there isn't some kind of major conflict or something to throw everything off, or a financial hit of some sort. I mean, think about 220,000 jobs for Disney being taken away in the entire world. That is a city. That's a larger city. Gone. All their jobs gone. These people need to fend for themselves. These are people that went out and got a car loan thinking that was going to go on forever and paying $700 for a used 2020, right? Gone. They're not going to be able to pay that. It gets repoed. All this other stuff going on. We're watching this house reno show. And all the prices are like, yeah, you got to redo the fireplace. It's going to be $50,000. Like, now this person's like a millionaire, but we don't have that kind of money. I know maybe you do. I hope you do. But we don't. You know, I can't just go and gut reno. We had a reno and it was... I won't put the numbers out, but let's just say it's about the same price as a used car now, because I don't have the ability to go and turn an entire wing onto our house. But take all this stuff seriously, you know. Pop culture is crappy. Follow your heart. Don't follow what they're telling you online. We're going to have major escalation as it pertains to the events in the world, Middle East. Make sure that you're watching your six when you're in crowded places, and just, you know, general situational awareness. Make sure you're doing things that can help you forego a downturn, a major downturn, you know. Because your job might not be there. I mean, my job might not be there. My wife's job might not be there. You never know. So prepping is a great way. At least you'll have food, you know. You'll be covered there. But the chaos is coming. I really believe it. So what will the world look like if we don't know who's leading the country? What will the other countries do? What will China do? What will Russia do? What will Iran do? If they don't think that we have a secure, solid idea as to who the policymakers are. And at that point, it's like, are these people even running the show in the first place? Think about it. Who knows? I think we're already kind of dealing with that, you know. They had this big hostage deal today, and you know, they're out there saying, "Yay, we did a one," but you know, I mean, who negotiated that? And you mark my words on that. I bet you in about 3 to 5 days, but you, sometime next week, it'll come out that it was some terrible deal that's gonna not be good for us. Like some horrible human being was, if you want to call him that, released. Some guy that was doing nasty things. I think I read about one that was doing nasty things and is now released to the custody of their home country. This isn't American. This is, I think, a Russian or something like that. But you get the point. It'll be a screw job. Always is. All right, friends, we're going to cut it off at that one. I appreciate you. Hit the like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, get the notifications. I'm going to try and go earlier. I had a busy one tonight, so I appreciate you. Thanks to all my mods, and thanks to all my supporters. If you like what we're doing here, of course, people in the green, the cool kids, like Mountain Husky, or Highlands Husky, sorry. You guys are awesome. Stealth Mode, Bad Bobber, I appreciate your patronage. A couple bucks a month helps keep the lights on for here, where we have the conversation, and then, of course, on the Crisis Report, where it is rapid fire news, and in 30 to 45 minutes, you will get all kinds of stuff. And I've been populating over on Subscribe Stars and Locals today, all the things that will get me kicked off of Facebook, and has already got me kicked off of Patreon, so this stuff needs to be seen. It's important, okay? All right, friends, God bless. We'll see you on the next one. PrepperNow out.